everybody goes against the Eagles. This is what happens. I would be mad too. I would be mad too. I've been telling y'all for 3 fucking months. And y'all just been doing this for 3 months. For 3 months I've been telling y'all. That's all y'all been doing. That's all y'all... Victory! Eagles! Twitter is literally on fire. Like, y'all really telling me that play at the end of the game was a penalty to help Kansas City win the game? Everybody in the world knows that was bull. Everybody knows that was bull. Either the refs were paid or this rigged like a. You can't. There's no other way. But this is all I'm gonna say. Hats off, respect to the Kansas City Chiefs, and to all of y'all texting my phone and calling me and talking about me. If you're not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, eat a. Thank you very much. You're just a hater. See you next year. What's up to all my football fans? This is Lolo the Maverick here. This is Maverick Mind Sports. And this is my Super Bowl prediction. Well. Here we are again. This will be the 3rd time that I said the Eagles will go to the Super Bowl, and they're here. Let me take them down memory lane real quick. Before the season starts, I want to say that I think that CJ Stroud is going to finish as the first quarterback, as in passing touchdowns and yardage, but mainly I'm going to say passing touchdowns. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be the number 1 running back. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be the number 1 receiver in terms of yards. And I think the Eagles are going to have the most takeaways. And my Super Bowl prediction is the Eagles and the Texans. That's what I'm sticking with.
The record for the most rushing touchdowns in a playoff game ever. Put in 1940, and the Bears did.
55-23.
This Eagles organization understands all the things that come along with winning.
I just want to say one thing. Let it be the last time that all y'all the last time that y'all ever disrespect us again. Talk about these bums. Fucking rookie quarterback. You thought he was going to come to Philly and beat us? Here. Don't y'all ever respect us again. Go to the bowl. I told you. This isn't going to be close. Stupid. Y'all dumb. This was a ass whooping. Slaughter. And now, we gonna win it all. Told you from the gate. I will bet everything I own on this team, on Barkley, and on Jalen Hurts. He can't throw. He gonna throw for 130. Belt to ass. Shut the up and hold that. Fly Eagles, fly, go Birds. Let's go. Good times, good stuff. Listen, I've watched every interview, and I've watched every conference, and I've watched every segment from every sports show. And I've come to the conclusion that, it doesn't matter what the Eagles do. It doesn't matter what Jalen Hurts does. I think the guy can win presidency and he can donate $3 billion and you guys will still have something bad to say about him. I'm convinced that unless you're an Eagles fan, you're never going to have anything good to say about Jalen Hurts, even if he does go and win this Super Bowl. like I think he's going to do. Like I've always believed in him to do since day one when his number was still 2. I believed in Jalen Hurts, okay? Now, after the Eagles lost the 2022 season Super Bowl, I said there was missing pieces, if it ain't obvious enough after watching the clips back, okay? 2 blown coverages that led to touchdowns, easy wide open touchdowns, and then a fumble from Jalen Hurts that was a scoop and score from Bolton that basically sealed the deal and put the Chiefs in position to win the game. So, as mad as I was about that holding call, that pass interference, even though it was a bogus call because they did let them play physically the entire game, they let them battle and battle and battle and battle. And it just so happens that when Patrick Mahomes had the ball with less than 2 minutes left, they throw the most controversial flag in Super Bowl history, possibly NFL history, right? And I was appalled and I was baffled and I was disgusted as a football fan more than an Eagles fan. For the simple fact that the ball was not catchable, okay? It was a great game, okay? No matter which way it was going to go, it was a great game. One of the best Super Bowls I've ever watched my entire life. To see that moment ripped away, to see that chance for the Eagles to get the ball back with less than 2 minutes left, it was very, very hard to get past that. And after I got my emotions out the way, after I got everything in check and I got my mind cleared again and I was over the Super Bowl loss, I said, okay, so let's think about this. Obviously, we need better corners. We need some lockdown corners, okay? We need a defensive coordinator that is going to know what to do in those type of situations and put us in a better position to win a big game like that again. And one thing that I've always said about the Eagles that I've always felt was that we needed better linebackers, okay? Specifically the middle. Now, let's look at the 2023 season, okay? We let people like, and I say we, when I say we, I mean the Eagles, let quarterbacks like Sam Howell throw for 300 on us, right? Why? Because anybody could have thrown the ball. You could have taken a high school quarterback and thrown the ball on the Eagles. It was Swiss cheese, okay? Once again, it was the same story, right? The coordinators left us, right? Middle of the field was terrible. Corners were terrible, getting burnt all the time. The team never reached their full potential because the team was never synchronized as one, okay? So now, leading me to this season, 2024 season, okay? The Eagles pick up Zach Bond, which is one of the most amazing free agencies or trades. I'm pretty sure it was a free agency pickups ever, right? Because what is he? He's a middle linebacker. Wow, right? They go in the draft and get Cooper DeJean, and they go and get Quinyon Mitchell, 2 lockdown corners. Wow, the 2 best. On top of that, they go and get Saquon Barkley. Now, that part I could have never guessed. Now, am I a firm believer that you can throw anybody back there at running back and they're going to rush for 1,000 yards with the Eagles' offensive line? 100%, I agree. DeAndre Swift proved it. Miles Sanders proved it. Do we hear anything about them now? Now that they're on different teams? It just shows you how special that offensive line is, okay? Barkley, that's an entire story for an entire another day. We know what Barkley has been able to do. We knew what he was going to do. I knew what he was going to do. And I'm glad that the Eagles made the decision to pick him over Derrick Henry. Because I knew what he was going to do for this offense. I knew how scary he made this offense. And I knew how unpredictable, key word, unpredictable he was going to make this offense. You have too many problems to worry about, okay? Now, with that being said, we get Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator, hard-nosed defensive coordinator who is responsible for the success of many of your favorite teams. Regardless on what you think about the Eagles, all those teams that you like with a great defense, He's responsible for that. And I understand he's never beaten Mahomes. He's 0-8 against Mahomes. Blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? He never had this type of defense either. So it doesn't matter what his record is against Mahomes, okay? Now, we get Vic Fangio. We get Kellen Moore, who is, in my opinion, one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, okay? He's responsible for what the Cowboys were able to achieve, okay? They were one of the highest scoring teams. They had an amazing season with him. Dak Prescott was balling out, okay? And I think we all know that Dak Prescott is not better than Jalen Hurts, no matter what any of y'all say. Only Cowboys fans would argue with that, I would think, right? That's another debate for another day as well. At the end of the day, Jalen's a winner, Dak is not, okay? That's the difference between Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio coming to this team. This team has a bunch of dogs, and it's one of the most talented, if not the most talented and well-rounded team in the league. That's coming from a football fan, not from a diehard Eagles fan, okay? So now, we get the pieces, right? Now I sit back, and I watch. And yeah, in the beginning of the season, there was a couple wrinkles. What do you expect? New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. It's the NFL, right? Get Zach Bond. And I'm like, okay. You know, we got rid of White. We let White go. He ends up retiring. The one that we got off of the Buccaneers, and another free agent signing we had. And then you see what Zach Bond does. You see what the defense does. You see what Barkley does. You see what Jalen does. You see what AJ does. You see what this team does. Okay? So now, here we are in the Super Bowl, like I said, since day one. And a lot of you guys out there who know me personally, you already know how I feel about my team. I've been confident in this team for the last 3 years. Out of the 3 years, last year was my most unconfident team, even when the Eagles were undefeated, because I knew that that was not going to hold up in the playoffs, okay? I knew it wasn't. And you saw what happened. We got embarrassed by the Buccaneers, right? So you lose the Super Bowl by 3 points. You get that chance ripped away from you to win that. Then you go 10-0, and then you throw the rest of your season basically down the drain. You would have thought that they were trying to get draft picks the way that they ended the season, okay? You get embarrassed by the Buccaneers. All that embarrassment, all that triumph, all of that heartbreak, right? I believe with somebody like Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, I believe that it puts a chip on their shoulder. And we can't forget Nick Sirianni as well, right? There's not too many players on this team that were not here when we won the last Super Bowl, okay, back in 2018. So, with all of that being said, okay, you saw what happened this season. You saw what the Eagles did in the playoffs, right? And I try to tell y'all, it wasn't going to be close with the Commanders. The simple fact that you think that because they were in the same game, that means that they're the same caliber team? I mean, I find it hilarious. I'm like, does your hate for the Eagles blind you guys that much? But here we are in the Super Bowl, okay? Now, from all the segments and everything that I've seen, right? Everything that I've watched on YouTube and, you know, on TV and all these so-called analysts, okay? Basically, what I hear is this. Yeah, the Eagles are the best team in football. On paper, statistically, right? Now, let's think about it, right? Stats-wise, the Eagles are the best, okay? Points-wise, the Eagles have outscored mostly everybody the most, right? Explosiveness, right? Takeaways, right? Points allowed, right? I can go on and on and on about all the statistics. But the most important part is the defense, in my opinion. That is the biggest part. Not Barkley, not Jalen, not Brown, and not Smith or Goddard. Okay? All the credit goes to them. I will not take nothing away from the greatness that they have provided, but it's really about the defense. Okay? Because what it takes to beat the Chiefs at all, whether it's the Super Bowl or a regular game, it takes a 4-quarter defensive team chemistry, right? Every single snap, every single possession, every single play matters when you play against the Chiefs. There is no secret on why they have so much success. But when you sit back and you look at how mediocre the Eagles were last year, they still beat the Chiefs in the shootout. Granted, they dropped the ball last second and they could have won that game, but we can go on ifs, ands, and buts all we want, just like I can about the Super Bowl, right? Okay, moving past that, right? If you look at the Chiefs this season, right, with all the controversy about the refs and blah, 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 okay, forget about the refs, forget about that. Let's just look at it for what it is. The Chiefs have squeaked by every single win that they basically had this year, right? They weren't blowing teams out, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they were blowing teams out. They won those games because of a team effort, because they know they're never really out the game until the game is over, okay? Regardless on what we think about the refs and what we believe and what we see, okay? Now, it's no secret that the Chiefs are a dynasty, right? It's no secret that Patrick Mahomes is, you know, one of the best quarterbacks ever. I'm not going to give him the GOAT status like everybody else, because 3 Super Bowls is not more than 7, okay? So, in my opinion, I think it's highly disrespectful to Tom Brady to sit here and talk about, oh, but his age and he got so much success so early. Who cares? Win 7 Super Bowls, win 5 or 6, and then maybe I'll entertain that idea, right? As we speak right now, as I speak right now, and as I look at it right now, okay, Tom Brady is the best football player ever, right? Winning championships is what they play for, is what they play football from when they're a kid all the ways up until they're an adult, and actually make it to the NFL and waste all those years playing. That's what they play it for. Not the money, not the fame, not the jewelry, not the gleaming and not the fame and glory or whatever you want to call it, right? They play to win championships, okay? So if somebody wants money, okay, let that be their motive. That's fine, right? That's fine. Let it be their motive. It is what it is. You're gonna play for money and not a championship. That's something you gotta live with when you retire, right? Hopefully not something you regret, okay? So as I speak right now, this is the way I look at it. Patrick Mahomes, as I speak right now, is the second best quarterback ever compared to Tom Brady. He's still number 2 to me, right? Now, we can talk about stats all day, blah, 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 but what stat matters the most to me? Super Bowls. That's what I care about, okay? I'm not going to entertain that anymore, okay? But I will say this. As I speak right now, Patrick Mahomes has proven you don't have to be a pocket passer. He proves that you have to be a pocket passer in your game, but you don't have to just be a pocket passer. He is the best dual threat quarterback ever until somebody, right, wins more Super Bowls than him. And I don't care if they do it in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. If they win more Super Bowls at the quarterback position, running out the pocket as a dual threat and staying in the pocket, throwing dimes like him, then we can say that they're better than Patrick Mahomes, right? But until that happens, until we see that, he is the best dual threat quarterback as we speak right now. I won't even lie about that. I'll give him that. But to say he's better than Tom Brady, I'm not doing that. I'm very sorry. Two different eras, 2 different types of football. The rules have changed. These teams are different. The game is changing and it's evolving more and more and more. Okay. Now that we got that part out the way, right? We understand that the Chiefs are a dynasty. We understand that Andy Reid is arguably the best coach in NFL history. In my opinion, I think if he wins this Super Bowl, I think that that's a very, very good argument between him and Bill Belichick. I think that that's a more valid argument than to be comparing Tom Brady and Mahomes. I think it's too early for that. Mahomes got a lot of football to still play and a lot of championships to still win, okay? I think the real argument is if the Chiefs do win this, right, is Andy Reid a better coach than Bill Belichick? That is the real debate. That's the one that I'll entertain. That's the one that I would really love for people to break down and really focus on a lot more than Mahomes and Hurts and Mahomes and Brady. Like, stop it. Just stop, okay? You can't compare people who have not played the same amount of time. I think that is the stupidest thing that anybody can do, especially when we don't know the future, especially in any sport. It doesn't matter what the sport is. It doesn't make sense. It's disrespectful to the people that already retired and already had their moment, okay? Not the people who are still playing, okay? It's an endless debate. So I'm done with that. Now let's move on to the next part. What I'm seeing from all these analysts, this is what I'm hearing. Yeah, the Eagles are the better team. Okay. The Eagles are the better team. Offensively, defensively. But the Chiefs have Mahomes. The Chiefs have Spagnuolo, right? Andy Reid. I get that. I understand that. And all these analysts think they're so smart when they pull up all these numbers and all these. You want to pull up numbers, Jalen Hurts threw for more yards than Patrick Mahomes in the last Super Bowl, okay? It doesn't matter. The Eagles lost, right? Mahomes threw for 196 yards and had 3 touchdowns. And Jalen Hurts had 1 touchdown and 300 yards. At the end of the day, it's about winning. It's not about the stats, bro. It's not about the stats. I'm tired of hearing about the stats. So we're here now, okay? Obviously, the Eagles are the better team. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy about the refs. But at the end of the day, it's about who shows up and who wants it more and who makes the least amount of mistakes, okay? I know Mahomes has the most comebacks ever, down by double digits, more than any player, any quarterback ever. That's fine. But I'm going to go with Stephen A. Smith on this one. If the Eagles go up by double digits in this game, the Chiefs are not coming back. And why do you say that? And why do you think that? Because of Saquon Barkley. That's why. That's why. The one who's been unstoppable all season long. And I don't care if the Chiefs are the best at tackling. I don't care if the Chiefs they allowed less than 100 yards since 2019 in the playoffs from a running back. I don't care. You can bring up any stat you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because on Sunday, I believe the Eagles are going to show you that stats mean nothing. It's about who steps up to the plate in the moment, who's better in the moment, who's more focused in the moment, who's sharper in the moment, who makes the least amount of mistakes in the moment. That's what matters, okay? Now, all these so-called analysts keep talking about the Eagles' offense against the Chiefs' defense. Huh? You got 1, 2, maybe 3 really good defensive elite players compared to what the Eagles have, right? My thing is this. The way I look at it is like this. It's actually opposite, okay? The Chiefs have been mediocre offensively all year long, not the Eagles. The Eagles have ran the ball as much as they wanted. You know they're going to run the ball, and you still can't stop it. Damn near last in passing, right? What does that tell you? That basically says, oh, they're a one-dimensional team. But guess what? You can't stop the run. So until you stop the run, they don't have to pass. Jalen doesn't have to impress anybody with his arm. We already know what he can do. I know what he can do, right? Whether you believe that or not, or want to agree with me or not, I don't care because I know what I see and I know what I know, okay? Now, we've seen him call audibles. We've seen him do all the stuff that they say he can't do. Read defenses, pick them apart. He's done it all, right? The bottom line is this, and this is the way I look at this game. It's more about the Chiefs' offense against the Eagles' defense, okay? Because what we know for sure is that the Eagles' defense doesn't skip a beat. And they hit hard, and they play old-fashioned football, and they take that ball with purpose, right? And they put you down with purpose. Listen, the real question is, are the Chiefs going to be able to move that ball on the Eagles efficiently, consistently, right? Consistently, efficiently, and at will, if you may, right? My answer to that question is no. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that the Chiefs receivers are going to fry, cook, have a field day on the Eagles defense. I don't see it happening, okay? We already know Patrick Mahomes is great. We already know he can run. We already know he loves to extend plays. But what you're forgetting is you can't hold that ball for too long, guys. He can't hold that ball all day, guys. Because he got people like Jalen Carter coming. He got people coming like Brandon Graham coming. Right? And the Eagles have so much speed on defense that Mahomes has no choice but to throw the ball very fast or to run very fast. And you have to ask yourself at some point in time, like, is it going to keep working for you? Are you going to keep having these amazing plays where you finally get somebody open, or you finally, you know, break through and get that pass interference, that roughing the passer, right? That's going to put you in position to score, right? When you don't have that stuff to depend on, that's when things start to change. That is when your back starts to go to the wall. And me personally, I think that the Eagles should put a spy on Mahomes, right? Put Zach Bourne as a spy him up, force him to find the open receiver like he does, force him to extend the play, force him to use his legs and do what he does. I want to see that Mahomes magic on Sunday. I really want to see it. Because if he can do that against this Eagles defense with that mediocre wide receiver core he got, including Kelsey, who's been mediocre all year, Pacheco, who's been fighting injury for like half the season and finally came back, has not really done much. Because you ain't going to tell me Kareem Hunt's going to run all over the Eagles. I know that's not what you ain't going to tell me now. I know that's not what you truly believe. Because I'm just going to laugh. It's just not, you're not serious, right? That's the real question. Can the Chiefs do that on the Eagles defense? I don't think so. I think the Eagles are going to have an answer to contain Mahomes, and I don't think that his teammates are going to get the job done offensively. I think that that's going to be a problem for them. You can't depend on your legs all the time. You can't depend on the refs all the time. This is where it ends. This is the part where you really have to prove that you're really like that. Because I promise you this, after I seen those conferences from the Eagles players before the Super Bowl, highly impressed. And I was most impressed by Saquon Barkley. Because as one of the newest members on that team, you would think he would be the one doing cartwheels and backflips off the stage and screaming and hooting and hollering and all that extra. But he had his game face on. And that is what I wanted to see. No smiling, no laughing, no extra excitement until you're holding up the Lombardi. That is what I want to see, right? Now, I've been saying it all year. I bet everything I own on Barkley and Jalen Hurts. They got that Mamba mentality, okay? Not saying they're the only ones, but they're two of the main leaders of the team, okay? And I think they are an unstoppable force, a force to be reckoned with. And this is only the first year together. We don't even know what's going to happen in the future. Hopefully they stay healthy and they keep doing what they do and they just get better and better and better over time. And I hope that Kellen Moore stays with the Eagles. Now, we know that they're not going to contain Barkley, okay? We know that's not going to happen. It's no matter what they do, right? But if they do, that comes at a price. You want to pack the box? Be my guest. Be our guest. Pack the box. Go ahead. We still have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. And if there's nothing but grass and everything is sold up, Jalen, just take off. Just run. Just go. Take 5 yards at a time, 6 yards at a time, 15 yards at a time. Whatever you got to do, just get the first down and keep it going, okay? Now, as far as who I think is the secret X factor in this game, obviously, we know Jalen has to play a great game. Obviously, we know Mahomes is going to play a great game, right? Or so we think. Obviously, we know that they're not going to contain Barkley the entire time. And obviously, we know that the Chiefs coaching staff is going to make adjustments after halftime. So we just have to hope as Eagles fans and Eagles believers that the Eagles coaching makes better adjustments than what the Chiefs do, right? Because that is the ultimate deciding factor in this game. Who's going to coach better? Who's going to make the least amount of mistakes? We have yet to see. We're going to see what happens. Now, my personal opinion, right? My take on this entire thing is Devontae Smith is the secret sauce. He is the secret X factor to winning this game offensively for the Eagles and helping them, putting them in the position to win this game. And you may ask, well, why is that? He's so little. What about A.J. Brown? What about Barkley? What about Goddard? What about Hurts? Listen, we already know that they're going to try to double A.J. Brown, right? The safety is going to come down over the top because there's no way that you're going to contain A.J. Brown one-on-one the entire game. And I know McDuffie is going to be sticking him. I understand that. But even McDuffie ain't going to hold A.J. Brown in one-on-one coverage the entire game, especially in his second Super Bowl. Let's be honest here. 1K is always open, baby. He always open. And them hands is automatic. He got no drops this season. 0, donut, nada, no drops. Okay? Now listen. This is why. We know they're going to try to double A.J. Brown. And we know that they're going to pack the box and stop Saquon. And guess what? That leaves Devontae Smith all by himself. All by myself. He's going to have big plays. He is going to get first downs. He is going to score. He is going to help the Eagles win this game. He is used to being in championship games. He's been doing it his whole life. He even said it himself. You know, I think Devontae Smith does not get the credit and does not get the appreciation that most people should be giving him. And that's fine. Because when he does what I think he's going to do on Sunday, he will after that. He will. The bottom line is when you're playing against this Eagles offense, you have to choose your poison. There's just too many directions and too many ways that they can attack you. And if you're as good as the Chiefs are, and you're as good as everybody thinks and says you are, you shouldn't have no problem then, right? Well, people, I think that Jalen Carter defensively is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think he's going to be definitely a game changer. I think Brandon Graham's going to be a game changer. I think Zach Bond is going to be a game changer defensively. I think Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, as long as they don't play nervous and they don't play, they got to get the butterflies out. They don't cause no big mistakes. I think that they're going to have a great game. I think they're going to get settled in by the second quarter at least. As long as the Eagles stay in the game, we'll be perfectly fine. If the Eagles take the lead or keep the lead or have the lead going into halftime, I really like their chances. I don't want it to be a close game. I want it to be an absolute domination by the Eagles because we all know that the way the Chiefs been playing, they're not dominating the Eagles. It's just not going to happen, okay? But if the Eagles dominate and they get a double-digit lead, they need to keep it. And once they got a double-digit lead, you already know. You already know who's going to get the ball for the rest of the game and milk that clock. And Stephen A. Smith said something that I want to point out. He said, the best way to neutralize Patrick Mahomes, keep his ass on the sideline. Stephen A. Smith, you are my favorite analyst. You are my inspiration. I 100% agree with you, man. And what I love about you is that you're always honest and you're always straightforward about the Eagles. I highly respect you for that. I commend you for that. Thank you very much. Because a lot of these so-called analysts love to pick and choose and be biased on when they want to be real. And I don't respect that. I could say the same thing about Shannon Sharp as well, though. So like I said, Devontae Smith is going to be the X factor in this game. I would not be surprised if he's the MVP. I think everybody else would be, because everybody expects it to be Jalen. Everybody expects it to be Barkley. And even if it is Jalen, that's fine too. I don't care who's the MVP as long as we win. That is my Super Bowl prediction. That is how I think it's going to go. I can't say who I think is going to cook for the Chiefs because the way they've been playing all year, I don't think anybody knows what they're going to do. It's going to take a team effort. Same thing with the Eagles. It's going to take a team effort. We know this. It's a team sport. There's no I in team. Right? So that is my Super Bowl prediction. Obviously, I got the Eagles winning, and people have been asking me all week about what I think the score is going to be. Very hard for me to come up with a score in this game. This is probably the first game that I'm not confident in what I think the score is going to be. But if I had to pick a score, I would say Eagles 31, Chiefs 24. And that is my pick. I'm going with my team, of course. There's no way I would bet against them. I know it's not going to be an easy challenge. And, you know, in all these last 3 years, this is my humblest moment as an Eagles fan. I'm actually nervous about this game. I've been through 2 heartbreaks in a row. I know now to not be all cocky and arrogant. Even though I was confident we would make it to the Super Bowl, we're here now. Let's just win it. And for the rest of my Eagles fans, let's contain our excitement till the game is over. We don't want to set ourselves up for another heartbreak. This game can go either way. And I do want to say one more thing. Whether the Eagles win or the Eagles lose, this is a very young team. This is the youngest defense in the NFL. You will be very crazy, you know, considering if we keep everybody and we keep the coordinators especially, you know. You got to be naive to believe that this will be the last Super Bowl that the Eagles go to with this team in the next 3 to 4 seasons. You got to be really crazy and naive to believe that. With all the talks about Myles Garrett coming to the Eagles in the offseason, or Max Crosby possibly, early first-round draft picks, 30-something pick, the Eagles have leverage. Don't keep playing with the Eagles as if they're not going to be right back in this position again. That's the closure I have, knowing that if they win or lose the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. They'll be back. Will they win it? Will they win the next one? I don't know. I can't think that far ahead. I like to think I make good predictions, but I'm really not a fortune teller, right? I don't think anybody is. But Eagles 31, Chiefs 24. This is Lolo the Maverick. This is Maverick Mind Sports. And we are out of here. Let's go, baby. Go Birds. Let's kill those Chiefs.
You can call me Lolo the Maverick, cause I'm one of a kind.